What's up, Peasball Nation? I want to talk to you really quick about something that guys come into me with, coaches, parents, players, about short arming. Okay, I want to make sure we understand the difference between short arming a throw and throwing from an optimal throwing position. And it's kind of like you're riding a fine line there. And again, even for someone like myself who looks at this stuff daily, the biomechanical aspect of it, slow motion capture, really slow frames per second, it can be really hard to tell if somebody's short arming or if they're throwing from an optimal throwing position. And again, trying to determine that from the naked eye is hard enough. Looking at it on camera is definitely more beneficial. So we want to avoid, just go ahead and dubbing people that they're throwing side from a short arm position. Sometimes it can be almost like an illusion when you're looking at someone throw. It takes a real good set of eyes to make sure you're understanding that they're throwing either really, really well or they're throwing from a disadvantage. So I want to talk to you very, very briefly about the difference between short arming and throwing from a optimal throwing position. All right. Short arming. Typically when you are at a completely inverted position like this, the ball is somewhat close to your head as you throw, so you might go long, and then what would happen is your elbow would flexion all the way in, or you went out kind of short, really, really tight like this, and you kept it in a really, really inverted position for your throw, almost close to your ear or your head. Why is this a disadvantage? Well, you lose a lot of power that way, and it's almost like you're kind of fighting yourself to get the ball back out to your release point. How can you understand this in terms of like a disadvantage? Imagine yourself being confined like this, somebody kind of holding your hands in. How much leverage do you have to get yourself out? Very, very little. So again, when you're going to throw, even though this is lighter than somebody forcing against you, it's still a good amount of force that you have to propel forward. Push your elbow and your shoulder at a disadvantage. A lot of times too, when this happens, if you're really, really tight, your elbow will start to drop, also putting you at a disadvantage on your throw. So that would be short arming. Throwing from an optimal throwing position is very, very similar, but you're just not quite that inverted. So the best position or best angle you want to have your arm action is at a 90-degree angle. The optimal position will be right inside that 90, strong. A lot of my players, when we talk about this here, is what analogy is best. I like to use arm wrestling the best. Okay, so you're here and you're going to grab that just extra little bit of leverage. You're coming in just a little bit more. Okay, you wouldn't be able to do this, but you'd be slightly inside that 90. You're at a disadvantage like this. Okay, and again, that's the opposite. That will put you at also a disadvantage if you're too far away when you're throw. So when you're looking at this on camera or you're watching someone throw, it can be kind of tricky to see exactly where their hand is. But I will tell you this, whether you go long and it looks nice and long and loose, or you go really kind of compact out the back, this position here is still really, really good. Okay, it just might not look as long and loose as when you go like that. When you go to throw though, even if you went long, you could still have the opportunity to short arm. All right, and again, those are all the things that we're kind of looking at when we're seeing if a pitcher is putting himself at an advantage or disadvantage in terms of where did his elbow flexion get to prior to letting the ball lay back and going forward. So keep this stuff in mind, use it with your players, try to capture some of this on camera, and hopefully you can use it to your advantage when you're evaluating your pitcher.